One of the greatest enemies of spiritual growth is despair. We simply say there's nothing we can do, we've got to accept the situation, there's nothing we can do. Nowhere is that clearer in the tefer, in the interaction between the two Parshiot. We are still, of course, in Israel and around the world reading different Parshiot. In Israel, we are reading Parshat Korach. In around the world, it's Parshat Shelach. What is the connection between the sin of the spies in Parshat Shelach being read this week in around the world and Korach, the greatest rebellion mentioned in the Torah? At the end of the day, says the Ramban, how could it be that Korach could challenge Moshe Rabbeinu? So much so, says Nachmanides, that he was so successful that had there been a democratic election, he probably would have won. He probably would have ousted Moses. After everything that Moses had done, Korach could be so successful to win the hearts and minds of so many people. How did he do it? Says the Ramban, because it came at a time of despair. They had just received the very difficult news that that whole generation would die out in the desert other than Joshua and Caleb, and hence there was such an atmosphere of darkness and despair. And since there was such despair amongst the people, even something as outrageous as Korach's rebellion can take root and can succeed. Despair, say many of the Baalei Musar and the great Hasidic leaders, is the greatest enemy of spiritual growth. When you are despair, there's nothing to do, there's only darkness, nothing can be done. That's when so much negativity takes root in our life. And incredibly, the Lubavitcher Rebbe has an amazing commentary in his book Sharei Moadim on Pesach Sheni, where he says a remarkable thing. In the last Mishnah, in Masechet Sotah, it says over there that in the future, in the time of Ikvet Mashiach, there are going to be so many challenges. The Mishnah in the last one in Masechet Sotah speaks about so many difficulties, economic problems, educational problems. Chutzpah Yaskel, there'll be so much chutzpah. The youth to the adults. The youth act like the adults, and the adults are subservient to the youth. So many challenges according to what the Mishnah there says. And 3 or 4 times it says, Ve'einan al mi lishayin, and who will we put our trust? El Avinu b'shamayim. Who are we going to put our trust in? In God. Traditionally, this is understood as there are going to be so many problems, and who's going to solve them for us? God. That is the solution. Says the Rabbi Lubavitch, no, that is part of the problem. When we have problems and darkness and despair, and we say we are so despairing that the only person who can help us is God, and we can do nothing, we are powerless, says the Rebbe, in so many situations in life, that is our greatest enemy. And I want to say in conclusion, in our marriages, in our families, in rearing children, in our broader family, in our communities, in our people, that the moment we come to realization, we say, it's just so difficult, and this generation is so difficult, and our challenges are so difficult, and there's nothing we can do. That is the greatest sign of spiritual weakness, despair. We dare not fall into despair. Yes, it's part of the process, but we need to lift ourselves out of the despair, because out of despair of the sin of the spies came the horrific rebellion. And may we all, in every element of our lives, lift ourselves over those feelings of darkness and despair into the opportunity and the mindset and the knowledge that we can and must always do something about it. When we do our bit, Hashem does his bit too. Shabbat Shalom.